She never imagined he would do it, but when he did, she couldn't stop crying, and in a turn of events that no one saw coming. Remy Ma is publicly pleading with Papoose to return after his wild, intimate night with Claressa's shields. First, let's go back a bit. This is the same Remy Ma who once referred to Papoose as king, the woman who had a secret relationship with an easy two-block captain while feigning that everything at home was love. But after months of false information, leaked footage, and suspicious hotel sightings, Papoose, finally, he snapped and picked Claressa. And he didn't just pick her emotionally, he picked her physically as well. The rumors are true, and Remy Ma is reportedly crying into her phone, pleading with him to just return. Insiders claim that she is going through a complete breakdown behind the scenes. But is this genuine regret or just guilt now that the roles have been reversed? Oh, Remy wasn't prepared for any of this. It all began with a picture of an innocent-looking snapshot from the BET Awards red carpet. The man who once spent years rapping about loyalty, the man who held Remy down while she did her time and the carpet Papoose dressed in sleek all black, standing confidently next to Claressa Shields, boxing champion, media darling, and now, according to the internet, his new everything. But here's what people didn't notice until it was too late. The way his hand was a little too low on her back. The way Claressa leaned into him not in the manner of a friend, but as a woman who knew he had chosen her, appearing to have no regrets. But where was Remy Ma? She wasn't in the crowd or backstage at the BET Awards, and she was either at home or perhaps in a hotel room somewhere watching the footage like the rest of us, holding our breath in our mouths as we realized what she never imagined would happen. Papoose moved on, but here's the twist. She knew it was coming, but she didn't anticipate it hurting this much because let's not act like Remy Ma has been innocent throughout this. Was seen several times with Easy at Loki's friendly dinners, and now he has removed the video of them backstage at one of his fights. Oh, and there was that one hazy hotel security footage that purportedly showed her entering a suite registered under E's real name. She denied it, laughed it off, and went into full PR mode. However, Papoose remained silent up until this point, which is never a good thing because when Pap gets quiet, he's not healing. He's plotting, which brings us to returning to Claressa. At first, fans assumed it was all innocent. She and Papoose were working on a project together, some kind of hip-hop boxing promotional crossover. She shared a few adorable captions, and he shared a couple of training videos. However, as the pictures began to appear, the chemistry became obvious. And then anonymous sources began to leak information on blogs. Papoose has been traveling to see Claressa on the weekends. They don't even conceal it anymore. I work in a hotel where weren't booked by the time the BET Awards aired, according to insiders. Remy Ma knew what was going on, but she didn't know it. We now know, thanks to Pap's close friend, that the two had officially crossed the line. They weren't just hanging out. They were physically and emotionally together, and Papoose wasn't hiding it any longer. In fact, he told a mutual friend a few days after the BET Awards that it was the best choice he had ever made. Claressa makes me feel respected, which is something I haven't felt in a long time. Phew. Now take a moment to imagine yourself as Remy Ma. You're watching the man you've been with for more than 10 years. The man you thought would ride or die, hold hands with another woman on national television, and then confess that he's happier with her, all the while your past with Easy is still haunting you. Don't worry though, because according to several insiders, we've reached the meltdown. Behind the scenes, Remy reportedly called Papoose 6 times in one night, left voicemails, and even attempted to show up at his hotel. Was crying uncontrollably and shaking, according to an anonymous insider who was supposedly close to Remy. She said, "I didn't know you would actually do it. I thought we were just mad. I thought you still loved me." He didn't respond the first, second, or subsequent times. What did Remy do next? She went live, but not on her main account. No, she used her backup private Instagram account. which she only keeps for her close friends and PR circle. But someone screen recorded it, and we now have footage of her wiping away. It was the first time Remy Ma was small to her fans. Not the fierce Bronx warrior, the battle rapper, or the bad chicken control bot. Rather, a woman who played the game and lost to another woman who wasn't even playing. Just when fans thought this couldn't get any more embarrassing, part 2 of the scandal hit because Claressa wasn't staying. She was crying and whispering to the camera, "I was wrong. I know I hurt him, but how did we get here? How do we go from family to strangers?" Silent or not, Claressa tweeted that he wasn't being held any longer. Wait until you hear what else she said and what new evidence was leaked from that bet weekend in part 2, because Remy Ma isn't just crying anymore. She might be prepared to fight. That one tweet, which was only 8 words long, set the internet on fire. Claressa Shields had officially entered the chat room and wasn't holding back. Was it a warning? Definitely. But more importantly, it was a message. Twitter was a battleground between 2 teams. Claressa, who saw Remy Ma's past with Easy, the block captain, as a genuine betrayal and thought Pap had every right to move on. And Remy fans who felt Papoose was moving too quickly and publicly and was merely trying to embarrass his wife. Then, of course, there were leaks, because, let's say, a source close to the BAT Award security team released surveillance footage from the weekend. It wasn't merely a photo opportunity anymore. Papoose and Claressa were all over each other behind the scenes as they walked down the hallway holding hands, and he fixed her dress before she went on stage. Yes, one angle showed them sneaking into a backstage room and staying there for 37 minutes, allowing the room to marinate. However, sources claim that what transpired in that room was not innocent and that by the time Claressa emerged, her lipstick had completely reapplied. Coincidence? Doubt it, but let's go back a little because, as insiders claim, this whole affair was building for months, and Remy Ma's betrayal set the fuse. Here's what one anonymous source who was allegedly close to Pap's camp had to say. He tried for real. Pap held it together longer than most would, but after she got sloppy with Easy, that was it. The love didn't die. It was murdered. And you want to know the most intimate part? Pap and the blogs ran with headlines like "Exploded Papoose gets his lick back in more ways than one." And Remy Ma's tears aren't enough. Claressa's first night together allegedly occurred on the exact anniversary of Remy Ma's first date with Easy. Coincidentally, again trying to get revenge. In the meantime, Remy Ma was spiraling and attempted to post a few carefree selfies on her main account, the kind with full glam captions like "Still that girl?" But no one was interested purchasing it because, while she was posting pretty, Papoose was posting actual pictures of herself with Claressa in a news story highlight called "Healing." One clip even showed him surprising her with roses at a gym event, and fans couldn't believe it. This man quickly went from mixtapes to muscles. One user commented, "Remy gave him pain. Claressa gave him peace." Another added, "But just when we thought things couldn't get any messier." One of Ezzy's battle rap friends went live, and yes, he dropped the type of tea that the story was changing. It wasn't just heartbreak. It was manipulation, gaslighting, and public humiliation. Remy Ma wasn't just hurting. She was exposed. Remember that backup Instagram account we mentioned in part 1? Yes, it went live. You all remember that one time Pat punched Easy at an event last year after he caught them at a hotel together. He didn't realize that Remy lied to his face about it, swearing they were just friends, but he had proof on his phone. Asterisk the live stream was torn, with some commenting hearts and others saying things like, "Girl, you should have thought about that before." Easy now, you want to cry? He told you what he needed and you ignored it. She went from arrogant to defeated and wild. But the most agonizing part came when Papoose joined the stream for about 20 seconds without saying anything. This time, though, she wasn't just crying. She was pleading. The moment fans realized this wasn't a publicity stunt. This wasn't a promotion. This was a real woman realizing she lost the only real person who ever stood by her and Claressa. Remy didn't say much, but what she posted said it all. A picture of her and Pap with the caption, "Sometimes what breaks you builds us fire. Let that burn." She left after watching and wiping her eyes and saying, "He's not coming back." Not finished, because in part 3 we'll dissect what insiders are now claiming is the last nail in Remy Ma's comeback career. A shocking cancellation of a bet panel. Rumors of a legal split and a potential restraining order. It's becoming uglier than ever, and the industry and the streets are now taking sides. Let's be clear that this wasn't just personal anymore. As soon as Remy Ma broke down in tears on Instagram Live, the industry began calling bet executives, brand partners, podcast producers, and producers, all withdrawing as though they smelled smoke and didn't want to get burned because, according to bet insiders, this wasn't just a messy love triangle anymore. It was a PR wildfire. Remy was supposed to be the main speaker on a panel at their upcoming Women in Power Summit, which would have focused on resilience, relationships, and rebranding. Oh, the irony. But immediately following that viral live stream and Claressa's tweet that he wasn't being held any longer, her invitation was discreetly revoked. Yes, gone, without any explanation or press release. It's just one internal email that purported stated, "Given recent events and reputational risk, we've decided to adjust the lineup." Translation: you embarrassed yourself, you embarrassed us. So, stay at home. It wasn't just that backed off. A sneaker brand Remy had been working with for months canceled their upcoming collaboration. According to sources, a promotional billboard that was scheduled to be placed in Times Square was canceled 24 hours prior to launch because, in their own words, "We don't want to be associated with unresolved domestic drama that makes headlines for the wrong reasons." Yikes. Meanwhile, Claressa Shields is thriving. She and Papoose popped up courtside at a Knicks game in matching outfits, laughing and clinking champagne glasses in a VIP box like nothing in the world was falling apart. TMZ even caught them leaving a luxury jewelry store, and fans couldn't help but notice that Claressa was wearing a suspiciously new diamond bracelet in her next post. And Remy Ma was posting black screens and cryptic quotes. One post simply said, "Lesson the internet says, yes." But let's talk legal, because according to one source close to the Bronx rapper's inner circle, things are about to get very real. It seems that Remy and Papoose had joint business ventures, brand deals, appearance contracts, and even a rumored coned property in Atlanta. Now that Pap has moved on, he is allegedly suing to separate his name from while we're talking about legal tea. Let's talk about the restraining order rumor. According to a podcast host who claims to have text receipts, Remy Ma allegedly tried to show up at a private event where Papoose and Claressa were appearing together. Security intercepted her, but not before she allegedly caused a full scene. One leak even claims he filed paperwork to remove his name from an LLC they created together last year, just days after the BET Awards. Began screaming about defending her family, at which point Pap allegedly told his team, "She shows up again, I'm filing a protective order. I'm done." This hasn't been confirmed, but the rumor was enough to get several blogs to post headlines. Like, Remy Ma might be banned from Papoose's events. Restraining order incoming? Pap says, "I'm done after the late night scene." Remy can't let go, and it's getting dangerous, and fans are divided. Some are saying Remy needs help, not hate, while others are saying this is karma. Then there is the Claressa factor, as more videos of her and Pap surface, making people wonder if she is the true bad guy here or just the one who picked up the pieces. She hasn't responded much since that initial tweet, but she did share a video of herself hitting the heavy bag in the gym with the caption, "I don't steal men. I attract peace." Well, the gloves are off, but here's the most bizarre twist of all in an unreleased interview clip that was recently, it is the truth. The regret, and perhaps the end of the empire that was Remy and Pap, because, let's not forget, they weren't just a couple. They were the symbol of Black love and hip-hop, the ride-or-die blueprint, and now just another tragedy. However, don't cry for Remy Ma too much because, according to sources, she is currently working on a raw, emotional documentary. Remy Ma allegedly confesses the one thing fans never thought she would say aloud: "I shouldn't have entertained Easy." One question remains: was this all inevitable? Did Remy Ma dig her own grave the moment she allowed Easy, the block captain, to send her direct messages? Or did Papoose move on too quickly, using Claressa as a rebound and a power move? One thing is certain, though: this wasn't just a breakup. It was a public execution of a relationship that once stood for loyalty, endurance, and love. The full rebrand title is rumored to be Redemption: The Day I Lost Him. What we really want to know is whether Papoose will ever get back together with Remy Ma, or if Claressa will be his permanent queen. Will Remy make a comeback with a new mixtape, documentary, or another poor choice? You think this story ends here? You're wrong. The friends are still chatting, the demiz are still leaking, and the next chapter is already in the works. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Gossip Spill Vibe, your go-to source for messy, dramatic, and utterly unbelievable celebrity exposes that feel a little too real, because when it comes to the truth behind the fame, we spill it unfiltered, unapologetic, and unmatched. Let us know in the comments below if you think Claressa is truly in love or just enjoying the spotlight. You're not prepared for the following step.